Tech went on the road and eliminated the number 15 national seed Arizona State. And what a year it has been for Pete DeMoore and the Hokies. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Hokies, presented by Capital One. Kelsey Bennett, for an offense that was absolutely spectacular in the Tempe Regional. Bennett is the one that had the best regional, as you see, had 9 hits and 11 at-bats, and actually has hits in her last 7 at-bats coming into the Super Regional.
Yeah, this is a Virginia Tech offense that has been good all season long, but last weekend they were great. And we were kind of talking about who we were going to highlight here in the Open, because there were multiple players for the Hokies that we could talk about. But yeah, Kelsey Bennett had herself quite the weekend in Tempe.
Well, they're going to face in the circle, and she will also bat, as we hinted to at the top of the show, for UCLA, one of the great stars in this game, Rachel Garcia. There's Rachel. Running just a little behind here at Easton Stadium, so the Bruins just now taking the field. UCLA won the Pac-12 regular season, and Rachel Garcia, the Pac-12 Player of the Year for the 3rd time this year. And what should we expect from her in the circle? Yeah,
Garcia going to throw hard, touches 70 miles an hour pretty consistently, and she has been throwing that combo of a rise ball and a curveball to both sides her entire career. Mark, this is a player, I mean, a senior, 5th-year senior, really 6th-year senior if you think about it, including the COVID season. But this is a player that has been so scouted her entire career, especially now with Team USA. But she just throws those curveballs and that rise balls, and you still can't hit it, even though you know it's coming. That's how good she has been.
Well, in that same vein, she gave up 4 earned runs in an outing to Fresno State in the regional here last weekend. It was the first time all season she had allowed more than 1 earned run in inning outing. That's how dominant she has been this year.
We saw her look a little human last weekend, and I think it was really good for her to see some tough competition. UCLA, a team, of course, we'll talk about it. They had to come from behind a couple of games, but she was tested, especially that Saturday elimination 8 extra inning game. It was fun to watch.
So UCLA 44-4 on the season. They have only lost 1 time at home all year. They're 28-1 here at Easton Stadium. The only loss came to Gabby Plain and Washington back on April 24th. They lost that game 4-2. All right. There's always a little bit of a delay with everything in California. Nothing's precisely on time when you have traffic and other things going on. So we're a couple minutes tardy, but hey, it's been worth the wait.
We'll wait.
And we're ready for this LA Super Regional to get going. Virginia Tech, UCLA, so happy to have you with us. Kelsey Brown, outstanding left fielder, Virginia Tech, steps in the box, and we are ready to go from LA. He chops the first pitch foul, and off we go from Westwood. Kelsey Brown, certainly someone you want to keep off base if you're UCLA. She has stolen 31 bases this year. You see the total numbers, but as far as stolen bases, she hasn't been caught all year.
She's only been thrown out twice in her entire career at Virginia Tech.
Just off the outside corner, a ball and a strike, as she is 49 for 51 in her career in stolen bases. Second team all ACC performer this year. She is a lefty slapper. Right umpire Jim Bertuzzi says she offered at it, and it's a strike.
Yeah, you could see Kelsey Brown, even her practice swings, you watch her, she's really trying to chop that ball, trying to get a bounce in the infield.
There's a chop towards third, and a little late. Well, one of the conversations we had with Kelsey Brown yesterday was just that, how she said playing out west, the ground's a little harder and she enjoys just bouncing him off right in front of the plate.
I mean, this is what she does, even in the ACC on the East Coast, where the dirt may not be as hard. We were talking to her about playing in Tempe on the West Coast, and she was so excited. She said, I'm always trying to bounce a ball, so if the dirt's a little bit harder, that's going to play right into my game.
So game leadoff base hit for Kelsey Brown. Here's third baseman Cameron Fagan. Cameron Fagan comes from a very illustrious athletic family. Dad Kevin played in the NFL. The 49ers won a couple Super Bowls, had a nice collegiate career at Miami, and three sisters of hers all played Power 5 softball. Fagan ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Rachel Garcia missed part of this season with injury, so this is just her 14th start, 25th overall appearance. So she's actually second in innings pitched to Megan Faremo. 107 innings pitched so far this year for Rachel Garcia. Right call. 2-2 from 2-0 to 2-2 on Fagan.
Yeah, for UCLA, this team has kind of been through a lot of adversity in terms of injury. Garcia, like you're talking about, missing really the first month of her senior season. Finally feeling good.
Just off the outside edge and a full count. And the catcher, Alyssa Garcia, goes out to the circle. UCLA is very specific. Faremo is normally caught by Delaney Wiz. Rachel Garcia is caught by no relation Alyssa Garcia in her starts.
Yeah, really cool dynamic. You have the super senior in Rachel Garcia, and you have a freshman behind the dish in Alyssa Garcia.
Staying full on Fagan, who finished the regional in Tempe very well. In fact, she homered in each of the last 2 games there against Arizona State and BYU. Virginia Tech is one of the unseeded teams still left in this year's NCAA softball tournament. Fagan at third. Malaulu, nowhere to go with it. A hot shot. Malaulu got a glove on it but couldn't corral it, and it's 2 on, nobody out for Virginia Tech.
Well, the game plan for Garcia was to throw outside to Fagan and try and get that lead runner out in Kelsey Brown, but credit Fagan, she laces this ball over to Tessa Malaulu at third. That's a hot shot.
This scored a base hit, so an infield hit for Fagan following an infield hit for Kelsey Brown. And here's Virginia Tech kind of picking up where they left off, where they were absolutely outstanding offensively in the regional in Tempe. The DP is up. Alexa Milius, she squares, lays down a bunt. Washington goes to first with Anna Vines covering. And there's your 3-hole hitter playing small ball in the first inning of game 1 of the Supers and succeeding, advancing Brown to third and Fagan to second.
Well, what does that tell you about Rachel Garcia and how good a pitcher she is in the circle? You get a couple of runners on with a ton of speed, and Virginia Tech going right to that sacrifice bunt. I think that's really smart. Runner at second base, no outs. Got to give yourself a chance to put the pressure on here and strike first.
The cleanup hitter up. First baseman Jamie Bailey, a foul back to the screen. A native of Scott Depot, West Virginia, Hurricane High School. Chance to give Virginia Tech an early lead. In tight all the way around on the infield for the Bruins. Change in speeds, a strike call, 0-2.
That's a pitch that Rachel Garcia did not have consistently early in her career. We talk about that rise ball and the backdoor curve, but she has really been working on that off-speed pitch.
Garcia quickly ahead of the cleanup batter. Bailey at 0-2 pops it up on the infield. I don't think he got high enough, but that high. But Perez makes the catch, and that's a key second out for UCLA.
And I love that pitch from Rachel Garcia right there. We saw her go to the off speed, and then she goes to a drop ball. 2 pitches in her arsenal, not really known for, but obviously with runners in scoring position, you got to get a ball on the ground. But hey, get a little easy pop-up in the air is even better.
Strike one to Kelsey Bennett, who out of all the outstanding performances offensively for Virginia Tech in the regionals, she topped the cake. Going 9 for 11. She comes into this super regional with hits in her last 7 at-bats. 7 for her last 7. It's a first foul ball. First baseman Washington charged it, and that ball had just gone foul when it kind of checked up, took a funny hop off her. Garcia, who got ahead of Bailey 0-2, now gets ahead of Bennett 0-2. Well, the Hokies put the first 2 batters of the game on base against Rachel Garcia. Had second and third 1 out. Now Rachel Garcia perhaps a pitch away from getting out of first inning trouble.
I think for Virginia Tech, this is who you want at the plate right now, even with 2 strikes. That's how good Kelsey Bennett was last weekend.
Yeah, 9 for 11. 2 of those hits were homers. She drove in 4 and trying to hang in with Garcia. The 1-2 pitch. They asked for an appeal. Now the first base umpire, Steve Gould, who says no swing attempted. Out towards right center field. Maya Brady on the move. That ball drops on the track, and 2 runs will score. Bennett headed for third. She's in safely. Well, Leah Jordan in right, Maya Brady in center came together right on the track in right center field, and the ball eludes both. And Virginia Tech takes the early lead.
Kelsey Bennett comes up clutch with 2 outs, and this is a mistake from Garcia. Typically, she's so on point with her location. I thought that maybe Maya Brady had a chance with her speed out in center field, but that ball just deep in the gap against the fence. Mark, this is huge for Virginia Tech.
A monster early hit in this Los Angeles regional for Bennett, who's now 8 for her last day. That has scored a 2-run triple, her third 3-base hit of the season, and Bennett stays red hot.
You know, you have to think first base was open. I mean, clearly the hottest hitter right now for Virginia Tech.
Well, these are 2 schools, quite frankly, with the internet and everything, the softball world and the world in general is tied pretty closely together. But this is only the 3rd time in history Virginia Tech and UCLA have played. And the most recent meeting was over 8 years ago, 2013.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. Typically, super regionals, you know, maybe you'll play a team that you just faced in the World Series, or sometimes we'll see that conference-on-conference matchup. This matchup, very interesting. There's not a lot of known on each side. Not a lot of scouting. Like you said, haven't really played each other from opposite sides of the country.
Well, Virginia Tech scored in each of the last 7 innings that they batted in the Tempe Regional. So they've scored in their first inning here in Los Angeles So the Virginia Tech offense in general picks up where it left off. They've now scored at least one run in each of their last 8 innings. Addie Green strikes out to win the inning, but Virginia Tech gets the huge hit from Kelsey Bennett with a 2-run triple, and it's the Hokies that make the early statement from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, let me just tell you, you're never going to go through postseason pretty. It's not going to be smooth sailing all the way around. There's always going to be a little adversity.
They call her Coach I. Let's take a look at her starting lineup presented by Capital One for the Bruins. And right at the bottom of the order, Kelly Gooden. Don't be fooled. She's batting 9th, but she's basically at 362 in her on-base percentage. Another top of the order type hitter batting 9th. Yeah,
she's so good. She could be a leadoff at any team in the country, but Coach Inoue Perez loves what she can do short gaming out of that 9-hole, and she was dynamite in the regional.
Keely Rochard, the ACC Pitcher of the Year, who threw every inning last weekend for Virginia Tech, has been staked to an early 2-0 lead. Brianna Perez leads off for UCLA and fouls the first pitch back. And what else can you say about Keely Rochard? But she is just, for lack of a better term, a workhorse. The innings, she can throw day in, day out.
You bet. I mean, 65, 70 miles an hour. And she has a rise ball that is just going to climb through the zone. And she can throw it very low at the knees. She could throw it at the belt, work her way up, and then she can throw it out of the zone. But she sets up her rise ball with her drop and her curve and even her off-speed pitch as well.
Standing numbers, of course, for Keely Rochard, 28-8 on the season. Brianna Perez, who was moved to the top of the order late in the regional last weekend. And the top of the order for UCLA has been an issue ever since the injury of Bubba Nichols.
Yeah, we're still missing Bubba for UCLA. Haven't seen her swing a bat in the last couple of months. So that leadoff spot has been kind of open for the Bruins. We've seen Aaliyah Jordan, we've seen Kinsley Washington, and Bri Perez. But I think Coach Inoue Perez really likes Perez at the top of the lineup because she has so many tools, and it kind of frees her up with nobody on base. You've seen her, even in just this at-bat, we've seen her show slap, bunt, swing away. Really keeps the defense on their toes.
Foul back, 3 balls, 2 strikes now on Perez. Coach Kelly Inoue Perez told us recently that she considers Brianna Perez the most athletic player she has ever coached. And that's saying something when you're talking about the athletes that UCLA routinely gets.
Yeah, just a complete 5-tool player. Hits for average, hits for power, especially this season. Fast. We've seen her playing shortstop on defense.
And Rochard gets Brianna Perez looking to begin the bottom of the first.
This is what makes Rochard so tough. You think this is a rise ball. Perez is thinking this is going to break up, but it breaks in. It's going to start outside to a left-handed hitter, and you can see it right there, break right over the heart of the plate. Just so deceptive.
Leah Jordan playing right field tonight for UCLA. Takes the first pitch strike. Jordan with a nice regional last weekend for the Bruins. Had an extremely important hit for them to come back and beat Fresno State when UCLA was 2 outs away from being beaten in the winners bracket on Saturday. But got a key hit from Jordan and a key hit from Rachel Garcia to eventually win that game in extra innings.
I mean, that run support, though, for Virginia Tech gives every ounce of energy to Keely Rochard, even if she needs it. She probably doesn't, but I tell you what, you see that on the board when you take the field, feels nice.
Well, she follows up a strikeout of Brianna Perez with a 3-pitch strikeout of Aaliyah Jordan.
Watch watch this strikeout. Watch this rise ball go up through the zone. I mean, this is over the head of Aaliyah Jordan by the time she ends up swinging at it, but it looks so good when it starts. She has such late break. So someone at home sitting there thinking, how are you swinging at that? It's over your head. Well, it looks like a meatball when it's coming in. The last couple inches, it just takes off.
It's a meatball that turns into a rocket. And a first pitch strike to Rachel Garcia. So we talked right at the top about Rachel Garcia being a two-way player with the pitching and the hitting. And the numbers equally on both sides outstanding. Check swing and appeal, yes. On the swing, says first base umpire Steve Gould, and it's 0-2.
Finals, and every pitch matters. You got to hit the go button right now. And I just love the fact that Coach Inouye Perez is huddling her team up, just kind of regrouping, resetting, and wanting to go right back at it.
Well, you and I were talking earlier today about this series, and we came to the consensus that here's UCLA. They've won 12 national championships. They're the defending national champions. Virginia Tech's in their second super regional. They've made it to the Women's College World Series one time. That was in 2008. We felt that Virginia Tech needed to make an early statement if they were going to have success in the super regional. Well, at least through one inning, they've done that.
And that's what they were able to do in that Tempe regional, and that's why they were successful. They got leads early, and they took the pressure off of Rochard. I mean, Keely Rochard, yes, they have other pitchers on the staff, but it's really her right now at this point. So you kind of relieve that pressure, especially in this situation on the road again. It's huge.
Bottom three up here for Virginia Tech in the top of the second. Emma Ritter, the right fielder, leading off. Emma Ritter, who is a true freshman, hit safely in all three games of the Tempe Regional, went 3 for 8 with an RBI. 2-2 count.
This is a very young team for Virginia Tech. Couple
Very
of
much.
freshmen, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, really, you look at the roster, and their juniors and their sophomores have had to be seniors, if you will, in terms of leadership and in terms of experience, because they don't have any. I mean, they are the absolute underdogs in every sense of the word.
Hard hit off the glove of Washington. And Ritter able to win the race to the bag. Well, UCLA's had a couple of balls like that defensively already, Kinsey. Yeah, tough plays, but plays that most of the time you see UCLA make.
Yeah, if you ask Kinsley Washington, she'll tell you, I need to have this ball. Pretty easy hop over there. It just looks like her feet get ahead of her. She was already turning to go to first base before securing that ball, seeing it into your glove.
That one is charged as an error. But it puts the leadoff batter on base once again for Virginia Tech. Kinsey Lauder, catcher for the Hokies. Do not be fooled when you see Mackenzie Lauder's batting average, which is at .213. You really need to look closely at her on-base percentage, which is well over 400. And a big reason for that is that she has a team-high 24 walks this year. So in general, a very patient batter. So you see, you might look at .213 batting average, but those especially that know more about analytics, which is the big thing these days, on base percentage, she's been great.
And Lauder, one of those juniors that really is a senior in terms of her leadership. Yes, down in the 8 hole, but catching for Keely Rochard.
Off-speed strike levels it at 2-2 on Lauder. Rachel Garcia, not the start that I'm sure she and UCLA expected. Virginia Tech getting 2 runs in the first, and now Rachel Garcia and Alyssa Garcia apparently not on the same page. They need to visit.
Yeah, Alyssa Garcia looks like she was giving Rachel some signs, and Rachel was shaken off, wanting to make sure she threw what she wanted in that count.
Kelsey Bennett with a 2-run triple in the first has given the Hokies the early lead, and this is hit foul wide of third. Well, I know we're only in the top of the second, and this is the 8th spot in the batting order for Virginia Tech, but at least through 8 hitters and 1+ innings, I'm not seeing any sense of intimidation on the part of Virginia Tech. They feel completely like they belong here.
I'd like to see some more off speeds from Garcia because Virginia Tech is very aggressive. Early in the count, late in the count.
Well, there you go. Runner going. The pitch is strike 3. Throw down to second is late. And a strikeout on an off-speed pitch for the first out of the inning.
So yes, you get the strikeout, you throw that changeup to get that important out. But Ritter at first has a ton of speed, and you can see her going from the jump. That's a great pitch to steal on. A great throw from Alyssa Garcia, but an off-speed pitch, and swipe a base.
16th steal for Ritter. Now here's Darby Troll, the center fielder for the Hokies. The 40th pitch already of this game from Garcia is down low. See the ratio, 26 strikes, 14 out of the zone. Virginia Tech, they feel like they're playing their best softball of the season. That's obvious with the results from the Tempe Regional last weekend, but Tech's now won 8 of their last 9 games, 36-13 overall, and season number 3 for head coach Pete DeMoore. There is back-to-back strikeouts now for Garcia and 3 tonight.
Well, Garcia against Darby Troll, a left-handed hitter, she was really just trying to work the outside part of the plate. If Troll hits that pitch, it's to Bri Perez or Tessa Mala'ulu on the left side of the infield, trying to keep Ritter at bay at second. So the fact that you get a swing and miss is just a bonus. It's a backdoor curve. Now you can see Troll just not feeling comfortable with that pitch.
Top of the order, the slapper Kelsey Brown up. He picked up an infield hit in her first at bat to begin the game, and then later scored on the Kelsey Bennett 2-run triple. That got some of Alyssa Garcia.
I think it got her in the face mask.
Good to see a smile on her face.
See the foul tip from Kelsey Brown. And Garcia was going for the catch, so a little overextended and oof, right off the face mask. Yeah, thumbs up.
In the San Diego area, Alyssa, Chula Vista, California. A 1-1 count on Kelsey Brown. Ritter began the inning reaching on an error. She's at second with 2 outs. Virginia Tech trying to add to their early 2-0 lead. Well, she went around on that, so it's 1-2, not 2 balls and a strike.
see her kind of shake her shoulders, kind of saying, so what?
Gone again. She did. The throw has to go to first to complete the strikeout, and Garcia makes that. So after the leadoff error, Garcia strikes out the next three. 2-0 Virginia Tech after an inning and a half. They had this year their 11th in school history, and they've won 12 national championships.
Yeah, I think maybe feeling the pressure a little bit, but you have to think they've been holding on to that national title for a long time with not having postseason in 2020. So I think at some point they're like, hey, we're a new team, okay? This is a couple years ago. 2019, yes, of course we won it, but we're back. We've got some new key players.
Well, Keely Rochard struck out the side in the first inning. She threw 8 straight strikes to end the first, and she begins the second with a strike. Delaney Wiz, who played a couple of years across town at Loyola Marymount University, transferred last year to UCLA. She's the DP tonight, but when Megan Faramo pitches, Wiz is behind the plate catching, and it's the first year she's ever caught. Which is saying something, because if the first year you get behind the plate and catch is your redshirt junior year of college, but there was a need, and Delaney Wiz answered it for Coach Kelly Inouye Perez.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Inouye Perez says, we are so fortunate to have Delaney in our program. Very selfless player.
Well, Rochard has fanned the first 4 UCLA batters of the game. Well, the Women's College World Series returning to Oklahoma City. Hallelujah. And the action begins Thursday, June 3rd, noon Eastern, live on ESPN. The series now 100% capacity. So now's your chance to catch the action in person. If you'd like more information on how you can go about getting tickets, go to ncaa.com/WCWS. Official online home for all 90 NCAA championships, ncaa.com. Things are a little different in Southern California. This is still each team getting, I believe, about 120 tickets available. So we only have a couple hundred fans due to COVID protocol here at Easton Stadium. June 15th seems to be the big date in California when the state will open up more widely.
I mean, this is the most fans that I've seen at Easton Stadium by far this entire season. So, I mean, you love that, especially for the seniors. Get just a little bit more of the friends and family, get some more voices cheering them on.
Center fielder Maya Brady. Maya's true freshman year was last year, the COVID abbreviated season, and she led the team in homers and RBIs when the season ended. Hit .356, playing all 26 games that they were able to get in, and has followed it up with another great year. Still trying to find her footing in the postseason. It did have a key hit in their third and final game of the regional, but she fans here. And right now, Keely Rochard, she doesn't even need anybody else out there right now except the catcher. She's fanned all 5.
Really doesn't. Goes to her rise ball. Look at this ball break. It's going outside and it's going to go up. And she's used her curve to both sides. But that rise ball, it's a pretty pitch.
Kinsley Washington, Bruins first baseman, foul tip, strike 1. Kinsley saying, yeah. Let's go, ladies.
She's always smiling.
Another strike, and it's 0-2. Keely Rochard threw every pitch of the regional last weekend in Tempe. Threw 344 combined pitches through those 3 games. 19 innings pitched. Wow. Keely Rochard is dealing to begin the night in Southern California, fanning the first 6 Bruins batters of the game. Virginia Tech Hokies, they're making their second super regional appearance in school history, the other being in 2008. 5 players named to the Mid-Atlantic regional team, and we've already gotten a pretty good idea about Keely Rochard, who is the ACC Pitcher of the Year, 5th Virginia Tech pitcher to win that award. In fact, really the 2nd in a row, as in 2019, Carrie Eberly won that, Virginia Tech pitcher. Wow. Keely Rochard, that's all I can see. She's fanned the first 6 UCLA batters. Pete Demore in season 3, and you can see the improvement from when he took over in 2019 to now. He was a longtime assistant at Missouri. In fact, when he was there as an assistant under Aaron Earlywine, they came to UCLA, and in a super beat UCLA and went to the Women's College World Series as an unseeded team, the Tigers, that year. Now he's trying to do the same with Virginia Tech as their head coach.
Yeah, talking to Coach Demore, you could tell he was very proud of the fact that, you know, finally his ball club head coach, you get your team to just the 2nd super in program history. And a lot of these players, you know, they've never been on this stage. The only one that has was Kelsey Brown when she was with James Madison, leadoff for Virginia Tech. But touched on how young this team is. It's a young squad, which is very scary for next year to think about.
I remember talking with Coach Demore early in the season. Well, it was mid-March. He was telling me that he and his wife Anna were expecting a baby boy on June 1st. When we had the chance to talk yesterday, I said, June 1st is coming up. How's things going? And he said, well, I got news for you. The baby came 2 weeks early. Baby's fine. Roe is the baby's name, R-E-A-U-X, pronounced Roe, baby boy. Mom and baby doing well. And nobody there. No chance to get Fagan on a bouncer to first. Washington had nowhere to throw. Vines, who was not lackadaisical, she just didn't have the time to get there. Fagan beats out an infield hit.
The only chance you have here for Washington is just to lead Anna Vines with an underhand pass right here. You can see she goes to throw overhand and pauses because Vines is not there. She needs to shuffle her feet, stay moving, and toss it underhand and kind of lead her. Toss it even before she's there. The only chance you have with the speed of Fagan running down the line.
So Virginia Tech has put the leadoff batter on base in every inning so far. Here's Alex Milius, who laid down her 2nd sacrifice bunt of the season in the 1st inning. It's eventually led to the 2-run triple from Kelsey Bennett. Elias, who is from the Northeast, Thomaston, Connecticut. In fact, she played a couple of years at Central Connecticut State. Her freshman year in 2019 and 2020. She's in her 1st year with the Hokies.
Garcia needs to be careful with that curveball. That was a missed pitch right there to Alexa Milius. She's trying to throw her on the outside part of the plate, and it just broke and bleeded back over the heart. Lucky for Garcia, Milius was taking.
Garcia has now fanned 4. He gets the first out of the inning via that method.
I love that she goes right back to it. Knows that she missed on that curveball, but sees something in Milius that she wants to attack the outside part of the plate. Goes back to that curve, hits her spot, has a little bit of up movement. You can see Milius is under this as well. Big strikeout.
Lead-up hitter for the Hokies, Jamie Bailey. That's going to allow the runner, Fagan, to advance down to second. The two Garcias need to get together again, Alyssa and Rachel.
Almost looked like Alyssa Garcia was crossed up on that.
I think that was the case, hence the quick meeting there. But it puts a runner in scoring position for Bailey, who leads the team with 42 runs batted in. Bailey hits it left side. They got to play at third, and running into the out is Fagan. And so with that right in front of Perez, she took the sure out. Zavala, Ulu, two gone. Well, we have a trio of NBA playoff games for you tomorrow night. We start in the ATL with the Knicks and Hawks at 7 Eastern here on ESPN. Then the Celtics host the Nets on ABC at 8:30, and we cap the night with Clippers Mavs at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. All three games also available on the ESPN app, so you don't miss a single possession. Kelsey Bennett has 8 hits in her last 8 at-bats. Her first at-bat in this Super Regional, a 2-run triple to right center in the first inning. In the hole, 0-2.
Maya Brady out in center field. She shifted pretty far over to my right, her left. Just thinking about that gap shot that Kelsey Bennett hit on a curveball. You can see where she's standing out there, almost playing that right center gap. That's where Bennett hit it in her last at bat.
Rachel Garcia does come back with a strikeout as Alyssa Garcia had to throw to first to complete it. And 5 Ks for Rachel Garcia. Keely Rochard has fanned the first 6 UCLA batters of the game. How has she done it?
Just attacking the zone. I mean, we've seen her rise ball, we've seen her curve ball, her backdoor curve. But I don't even know if she's thrown that many balls. She's just going right at the zone. No fear. West Coast, #2 ranked team, doesn't matter to Keely Rochard. I mean, remember, this is the ACC Pitcher of the Year, one of the best in the game.
So with Washington not playing till tomorrow, Gabby Plain has just been passed by Keely Rochard. Georgina Cork, South Florida's season came to an end in the regional weekend last weekend. So there's a pretty good chance that within the next couple of innings, Keely Rochard may be the Division I strikeout leader for 2021, with that obviously being a fluid situation.
We're going to keep our graphics guys busy and keep that updated as this game goes on, and especially the pace that she's at. Just be jumping to the top of that list and staying there.
Anna Vine starts things for UCLA in the last of the third, and there's a first pitch strike.
I mean, just look at Rochard's pitch count coming into this inning at 22 pitches. On the flip side, Rachel Garcia was pushing 50 going into the top of the third.
Well, which plays to the long game here, because as we talked about, Keely Rochard threw every pitch of the regional in Tempe last weekend, over 330 pitches for the weekend. So if this goes 3 games, I still think there's a really good chance that Keely Rochard is going to throw all 3 games if it goes that far for Virginia Tech.
You bet. If the game is close and winnable, she's in the circle.
So if she can continue to be economical with her pitch count, that could play a big part not only tomorrow, but if there's a game 3 on Saturday.
For UCLA, they have a really solid #2 pitcher in Megan Faramo pitching behind Rachel Garcia. They also have a very solid #3 pitcher, if you will, in Holly Acevedo. So UCLA has multiple arms to go if they need to. Virginia Tech, really, it's Rochard for the rest of the tournament.
Brings a 1-2 pitch to Vines and caught by Rochard. Well, she doesn't get a strikeout, but she gets a put out. So she's still basically thumbing her nose at the rest of her defenders besides her catcher Lauder. I may not need you all tonight.
I was going to say, your theory still holds.
Yeah.
She just needs Vaughter really out there at this point, but goes inside to Vines, causing her to jam, and you can see pretty easy, soft little liner. Fielded herself.
UCLA third baseman Tessa Mala'ulu. True freshman from nearby Long Beach, who's been getting more chances offensively because defensively she has been lights out at third base. You can't take her off the hot corner.
I mean, we touched on it early, but UCLA still missing Bubba Nichols and an Olympian, and Tessa Mala'ulu has capitalized on that playing time, that open spot. The only true freshman in the lineup for UCLA this season has been just a little spark plug down at the bottom of the lineup.
Out to short, Kelsey Bennett fires to first. And they get Mala'ulu for the second out. Well, Kelsey Bennett's consecutive hits streak ended at 8 when she struck out to end the top of the inning. How many hitters have had 8 straight hits in the postseason?
I was going to say, at this level, and you're in May, I don't know about that.
But you know hitters, they're going to get greedy. She's thinking, should have had 9.
That's right.
Kelly Gooden brings it down foul.
Well, you can see right away the bottom of the lineup right now for UCLA trying to go to their short game. You saw that chop slap from Mala'ulu, forcing Bennett to make a good play. And then you see Kelly Gooden showing drag, but just trying to break the rhythm up. Because swinging away right now, not working for the Bruins. Remember, this is a lineup, 7 left-handed hitters for UCLA.
Kelly Inouye Perez was asked about that on our chat yesterday, and she said, you know, we just take the best athletes, best players that we need, and if it just so happens that they're left-handed, you know, that's the way the recruiting has worked out. We don't go saying, hey, we want a lot of left-handed bats. We just take the best bat.
I mean, 5 of those 7 lefties, to me, are really triple threats. Can do anything with their short game. Can swing away if they need to, can drop a bunt, have speed. The only 2 lefties that don't ever show slap or bunt are Aaliyah Jordan in the 2-hole and Maya Brady in the 5-hole. So we were talking to Bree Perez, who's the leadoff on deck, and she was kind of joking. We call it 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. We can all do the same thing, talk about the game plan, can drag bunt, read the defense, use our speed.
Missed it, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Once through the order, Keely Rochard has set down all 9 UCLA batters, striking out 7. When we come back, we'll chat with the Bruins head coach, Pac-12 Coach of the Year, Kelly Inouye Perez. Go to the 4th. Let's chat with the Bruins head coach, Kelly Inouye Perez. Coach, what offensively needs to happen for you guys to have some success tonight against Keely Rochard?
Well, putting the bat on the ball would definitely help. But, you know, I think the most important thing is, you know, credit them for being able to come out and execute a game plan. I think everyone in in the country, you know, has a lot of film on Rachel, and you can set up a game plan and credit them for executing it. For us, this is the first time that we've seen her. She clearly has an effective rise ball. We've been able to face pitchers that have an effective rise ball, and sometimes it takes some time to make an adjustment. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm obviously looking for an adjustment, and we got to put the bat on the ball.
Coach, we saw your team huddle up after that first inning where Virginia Tech jumps on the board first. What was that meeting about?
You know, I had prepared them before the game. You know, we're in postseason, and we've got to have a short-term memory, you know, and, you know, we've put ourselves in a position to prepare for moments like this. It's the first inning. So I told them they won inning number 1. Now that's in the past, and we got to get to the next inning and continue to make adjustments. So we're really focusing on living in the moment, not focusing on the past or worrying about the future. So that's a big part of how we're going to be successful, is just being able to play the game one pitch at a time, slow it down, play our game, and I believe that we got to make adjustments to be able to compete.
Great to be here with you. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Coach Kelly Inouye-Perez. I know technically my career is broadcasting, but I wish I could collect and articulate my thoughts and deliver them as concisely and efficiently as Kelly Inouye-Perez does.
100%. If she wasn't a coach, she would for sure be taking our jobs. She always has some wisdom that, you know, they're not cliches. They come out of her mouth, and I just have to sit with it. I'm like, wow, I've never heard it said like that before. Very cool. It's a really neat part of our job is getting to talk to all the coaches.
Addie Green leading off the Hokies 4th. Hey, don't look now here, Kinsey, but we're into the middle stages of this game. And UCLA hasn't had a base runner. Tech made the early statement with the 2-run triple from Kelsey Bennett. Those really since then, Rachel Garcia is looking and effective like Rachel Garcia normally is.
Yeah, the last 2 innings, Virginia Tech has had runners on, but not really threatening like we saw in that first inning where they just jumped out. And we saw, of course, Kelsey Brown get that infield single, and then that hot shot to third. Cameron Fagan just squared it up. And then, of course, like you said, Kelsey Bennett got that timely hit. But I think it just goes back to that timeout Coach Inouye-Perez was talking about. It's time to go. There's no time to wait.
Smiles back on the face of Rachel Garcia as now she's starting to put up the strikeout numbers, as that's her 6th of the night.
I think this pitch was supposed to break up a little bit more than it did. It was just a little too fat. And I think that's why Addie Green had a hard time with it. She saw the spin, thought it was going to break, and you could see Rachel Garcia just kind of smiling to Alyssa Garcia saying, hey, my bad. But got the strikeout.
Yeah, looking at that replay, that definitely was a pitch that I think Rachel Garcia is like, oh, glad I got away with that one right there.
You feel that as a pitcher. As soon as the ball lets go out of your hand, you know what it feels like, and you know if it's going to be a strike or something that's not breaking. So the worst feeling in the world is knowing you're throwing something that's not your best. So when you see a hitter not swing, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Great, he didn't swing.
0-2 count. Emma Ritter reached on an error her first plate appearance, but then stole the base. Game 1 of this best-of-3 Los Angeles Super Regional. Easton Stadium on the UCLA campus, along with 2-time All-American pitcher Kinsey Fowler. I'm Mark Neely. On site, we're happy to see with our own eyes these 2 high-caliber teams doing battle for the Pac-12 and ACC. That grazed her. You know, we saw a number of times in the regional where batters, primarily from Fresno State, Rachel Garcia hit 4 batters in a game against Fresno State in the regional. This is the first she's hit today.
Yeah, you can see a right-handed hitter and Emma Ritter. She's turning to go into her swing, but that backdoor curve from Rachel Garcia just doesn't break across the plate. It just kind of holds down the line. Looks like it barely got her on the shirt.
Yeah, it didn't get much, but it did get a little bit of the jersey. Lauder sends one high and deep to center field. Brady Backdo is there to make the catch in front of the track. 2 outs. Maya Brady had a beat on that one. Got a great jump in center field.
Yeah, she covers a ton of ground out there in the outfield. Really good speed, has a good arm.
You and I had a long conversation with Maya prior to the regionals, talking about her athletic history as a youth. Said she'd like to play soccer. Was, besides softball, her favorite sport. She was into track. She said flag football. She basically played everything, but soccer was really the sport that I said, if there were any sport besides softball, what would be your next favorite? She said it was soccer.
So unique because you have softball where it's a hand-eye sport, and then soccer is using your feet, but turning on the burners out there in center field, you can see why she was so good at soccer, because she can flat out fly.
All in a strike to the center fielder, Darby Troll. Oh, fun to watch. She's really shading the center the other way. She hits it the other way. Drops in front of Gooden for a base hit. Ritter stops at second, a single for Troll. That's 2 on, 2 outs for the Hokies, but that turns the lineup order back to the top.
It's a really nice job by Darby Troll. Just look at her see this ball deep. Doesn't even finish her swing. And you can see out there in center field, Maya Brady, how shifted she is. So as a hitter, you see that. You're sitting in the box, you're looking up, you see the shift. I mean, it makes common sense. Hey, Rachel Garcia is going to throw me outside. They're sitting there for it. So I'm going to see it deep and just put a nice little swing on something and try not to do too much.
Well, here is the top of the order for the Hokies. Kelsey Brown again. Brady staying over in the alley in left center field, and a first pitch foul.
Yeah, she's almost playing a shallow left center at this point.
Kelsey Brown began the game with an infield hit and would score on Kelsey Bennett's 2-run triple later in the inning. That has been all the scoring to this point. In the foul ground, there's some room over there, but that hit the screen first.
Yeah, Kelsey Brown, even with the runner at second base, she's trying to bounce the ball. She's trying to hit it straight into the infield and get a hop. So as a pitcher on the flip side, you see that, you recognize that, you're trying to get her to pop up. Rachel Garcia going to 2 rise balls up in the zone.
Another meeting between Rachel and Alyssa. Well, hitting with runners in scoring position for Virginia Tech last weekend, they were outstanding. Hit .394 with runners in scoring position. We're out to winning all 3 games and winning the Tempe Regional and knocking out the 15th national seed, number 15 national seed, Arizona State. Puts it on the ground, dropping the ball. She had a force out at third, and Perez just lost the handle on it. It's been a normally steady defense for UCLA. That's going to be their second error of the game.
And this is what speed does. Even how good Bri Perez is as a shortstop, it speeds up your thoughts. And 9 times out of 10, she's just going to tag the runner that's running in front of her and just run her down. But she goes to the toss, has to make 1 extra play. Ball gets away. But I'll tell you what, this Virginia Tech lineup, very balanced. They have some really good short game, they have good speed, and they have pop throughout the lineup. They're just very good, very well-rounded, I should say. A lot of different looks.
So an error keeps the inning going. Second error of the game. 6th error in the NCAA tournament this year for UCLA, which is a pretty high total for a team that only had 29 errors coming into this game in 49 total games on the season. Bases loaded for Cameron Fagan, who has a couple of singles. And the success in the regionals for Virginia Tech. Played well defensively as well, and Rachel Garcia evens it at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, we talked to Kelsey Brown, who was on first base yesterday, and she said, we as a team, we feel like we're peaking at the right time. We kind of have all phases of the game rolling in our favor.
Just a hair off the outside corner. Full count, 2 outs. Runners can take off when the pitch leaves the hand of the pitcher. Big 3-2 pitch coming to Fagan. Puts it in play. Left side, it's through. 1 run in. A second run coming in as Gooden juggled it in left field. And Virginia Tech adds 2 more and leads 4-0. Mala'ulu and Perez kind of looked at each other on the left side of the infield, and that ball went through untouched.
I mean, UCLA right now defensively is letting down Rachel Garcia. And watch right here, Mala'ulu and Bri Perez, they both hesitate, trying to see who should go for it, not wanting to get a tip. But hey, 2 outs, bases loaded. That ball's got to stay in the infield. Whether one person gets it or the other gets it. There's a force at third. That could have been a pretty easy 3rd out of the inning. And right there, you saw the Bruins, a full team huddle in the circle.
The second base runner that scored on that, Darby Troll, was not hesitating coming from second around third, even before Gooden had a little bit of a misplay in left field. But a couple of unearned runs here for Virginia Tech, and it's 4-0 Hokies in the top of the 4th with runners at second and third, a chance to add more with Milius, the DP, at the plate.
And I know that's not going to go down in the books as an error, but that's a mental error. That ball could have been a pretty easy out over at third base.
Grace Chavez is going to bat here for Milius. Virginia Tech sensing an opportunity to add more. Chavez, who has 7 homers on the year, coming off the bench to bat in Milius' spot, but now she's in the hole, a ball and 2 strikes. I think Pete Demore is looking like, hey, if I can get a long ball here from Grace Chavez, you can put the game out of reach. Quite possible. A little flare towards left, diving, and Gooden makes the catch to end the inning, and then slams that ball down to put the exclamation point on the end of the inning. But Virginia Tech adds 2, both unearned. Nice catch, but 2 click because they're playing very good softball.
And it's probably when we got swept by Notre Dame. You know, we had 2 ways to go. We could have got better or kind of got worse and quit. So the kids took it to heart, and we've gotten better.
Well, Coach, your pitcher in the circle, we talked about her earlier this week, how she might be ready to get that national stage, get that attention. What are you seeing from her so far tonight?
Yeah, she's throwing well. The Keeley's being Keeley. She's got her A game tonight, so we got a chance.
Appreciate the time. Thanks so much, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Coach Pete Demore, you know, I thought I knew what the answer may be to that question because we talked about that Notre Dame series when they got swept. It's not like they played terrible because I believe several of those games were 1-run games.
Three out of 4.
3 of them, 3 of the 4 were 1-run games. But prior to that, they had played really well in conference play. But the Irish swept them, and that was the moment that Pete Demore kind of brought his team together and said, "Hey, which way we got to go here?" And they have been really, really good since, and now are playing their best softball at the right time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a straight-up coach, and talking to him, he said, I flat out told him, hey, we're in a hole, and it's up to you guys whether you want to climb up out of it or if you want to stay in it. And like you're talking about, Mark, losing 3 of 4 games by 1 run, oof. I mean, that's enough to, quite frankly, tear a team apart. That's where things can get really ugly, because you're looking around, who's to blame? Why didn't we get one more run? Why aren't we winning? And then they got out of that hole, left that sweep in the past, and I think they've been trending in the right direction.
So they're up 4-0 last of the 4. Top of the order up for the Bruins. And the last I checked, it still says UCLA in front of that jersey. I mean, these are the Bruins. 12-time national champion. Most national championships in college softball. They're the defending national champions. We saw them fall behind a couple of times last weekend in the regional. Never seemed to panic. The dugout doesn't look panicked right now, but they're down 4-0 to a pitcher who seemingly can do no wrong right now.
And I'm looking at the dugout, and this is the first time all game I've seen them have energy. And knowing UCLA and watching UCLA, they are always loud and kind of goofy in the dugout. You see the hats on the head, the rally visors in effect, but they play loose. It's part of their DNA. Don't panic like you're talking about, but this is the first time I've seen them vocally get into this game.
An appeal down to the third base umpire, Liz Hammerschmidt, and she says, yes, Perez went around. 8 strikeouts for Keely Rochard.
And now going through the lineup for the second time, Keely Rochard going up with this rise ball. And I just have to laugh because look where this pitch ends up. You see Mackenzie Vaughter behind the plate. She's jumping to catch that. And Brie Perez is one of the best hitters in the country, and she's going after that rise ball that is over her head.
Off-speed pitch, and Leah Jordan's out in front. Jamie Bailey takes it to the bag. 3 unassisted, 2 outs. Do not miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Super Regionals. We'll take you to the best live action on the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. You can see every game and every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series only on the ESPN networks. Since we had only 2 Super Regional games tonight, Florida State beating LSU earlier, and our game here in Westwood, we really get it kicked off tomorrow. Everybody in action on Friday. So 7 Innings live, your place to catch it all. Rachel Garcia pops it up. Lauder battling it, but in foul territory by a step, makes the catch. A lot of times you see them make. Kelly Inouye Perez wanted to have a conversation. That was with Chad Steers, the second base umpire. Interesting. Not sure what that might have been about.
My only thought is it has to do with the Virginia Tech slap hitters. That we've seen that call be the second base umpire's call all season long with a 4-man crew, if you will. And Virginia Tech, we talked about what they've been able to do out of the box. And so that's my only thought of what that conversation could be about.
And a sharp single by Jamie Bailey through the hole and into left field. And Virginia Tech's offense rolling on here. They have put the leadoff batter on base in 4 of the 5 innings tonight.
You can tell the urgency right now on both sides. Both offenses very aggressive early in the count. And especially you have 2 of the best pitchers in our game going at it. They don't want to fall victim to the strikeout. They want to jump out early and get their swings in.
You're the 2-time All-American pitcher, but I would say I don't think that Rachel Garcia has pitched badly tonight.
No, she really hasn't. I mean, you look at the scoreboard, 7 hits, all right, for Virginia Tech, but a lot of them were infield hits, and a lot of them, to me, were mental errors. The only hit that I can think of was that 2-run triple to Kelsey Bennett, this hitter, in the first inning. That was a really nice piece of hitting in a clutch moment. The rest have kind of just been scattered around the infield.
Speaking of Kelsey Bennett, she's up here. The 2-run triple in the first, struck out in the third, which ended a string of 8 consecutive at-bats with hits, dating back to last weekend's Tempe Regional. So even with that out her last time up, she is still 10 for her last 13.
I don't want to deal with numbers. Let's just say she's like the fire emoji right now.
Yeah, she is that.
I get lost when we talk about numbers.
We asked her about it yesterday when we talked to Kelsey Bennett. I said, well, why are you hitting so well? And she said, you know what? I'm not thinking at the plate. Sometimes I overthink things, and that's when I run into trouble. I keep my mind clear, and she does that. She finds a gap in right center field. It bangs off the wall. All the way to third goes Bailey, and Kelsey Bennett, her second hit of the game, and runners are at the corners for the Hokies.
Kelsey Bennett came to play. Look at this pitch. It's a curveball from Garcia. It drifts a little bit over the heart of the plate. And I just love her swing and her approach against Rachel Garcia. She is waiting for that outside pitch. This is a better hit than she had in her first at-bat, that triple. She's just seeing the ball deep, and she is fired up for her team.
So they run for Bennett at first base. Luco pinch running. Here comes Lisa Fernandez, the pitching coach for UCLA. Well, here's Virginia Tech. With first and third, nobody out, leading 4-0 in the top of the 5th. And if any of us thought that this game was going to go this way right now, that's not a Hokie fan, I'm going to say, I don't know, really? But it's at a point right now, if UCLA gives up another run or 2 here, and as well as Keely Rochard is pitching, do they then have to decide, well, there's the perfect shot. It shows that the bullpen is active for UCLA. Do you start thinking about saving Rachel Garcia for tomorrow?
You have to think about it and entertain the thought, because right now Virginia Tech seeing the ball very well off of her. And you just have to wait if you're UCLA and if you're Coach Inoue Perez to see if the offense is going to show you anything that they're going to get back in this ball game and be competitive.
That was Holly Azevedo getting loose in the bullpen for UCLA.
And this is a long time out right now by Coach Inoue Perez. And I think it started defensively, but now it's turning motivational. You can kind of see her, giving it to her players a little bit like, hey, come on. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to pitch. And we're going to be ready for it, and we're going to respond.
Yeah, that's the head coach, Kelly Inoue Perez, trying to find an answer right now for a team that's down 4-0. And Hokies offense threatening again here in the top of the 5th. Addie Green is the hitter for Virginia Tech. And she drops one into right field for a base hit. That scores Bailey, and it's 5-0. Well, Green had fanned twice against Rachel Garcia. Her first 2 times up tonight. She jumps on the first pitch and drops it into right for an RBI single.
After that long time out, Addie Green says, I'm ready to swing. And this is not a bad pitch from Rachel Garcia. It's in the river. But Addie Green was sitting on it, and you could tell her swing was early. Just gets enough to lift it over the head of Anna Vines. And that's all you need with a runner at third base.
So 5 runs allowed tonight for Rachel Garcia. Most she has allowed this season. Granted, a couple of those are unearned, but nonetheless, season high for runs allowed. Lisa Fernandez out there this time. And now with the Bruins down 5-0 in the top of the 5th, and on the other side, Keely Rochard has retired all 12 UCLA batters that she has faced. It's a crossroads time here for UCLA when it comes here to game one.
Yeah, this is just a really great shot. You see Lisa Fernandez, one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time, talking with her pitcher and Rachel Garcia, this generation's Lisa Fernandez. So it's just really nice to see Coach Fernandez kind of joking and keeping it light, but at the same time kind of spitting some knowledge, spitting some facts, keeping her senior in it. Getting cold here in the fifth.
And Megan Faramo is the one that's going to take over for Rachel Garcia. Wow, what's going on in LA tonight right now? 5-0 Virginia Tech in the top of the fifth. We'll take a quick timeout.
The heat, she's going to work her curve to both sides. She's very similar to Rachel Garcia in the way where her pitches move and how she attacks the zone.
Mala'ulu can't come up with the bare hand do-or-die play. And Ritter loads the bases.
Virginia Tech wasting no time. And this is a right-handed sac bunt. You can see where Mala'ulu was playing. I'm not sure why she goes to her bare hand. This is a right-handed hitter. She has a cannon at third base. I don't think she needed to hurry the ball like that. I think if she shores it up with her glove, takes a little shuffle step, she gets the easy out at first base.
Kinsey Lauder takes a strike. 5-0 Tech, top of the fifth, bases loaded. Still nobody out. Rachel Garcia has been lifted for Faramo. And Bubba Nichols is now in center. That is a live ball, swing and a miss, but it quickly came off the backstop. And staying at third, probably wisely, was Kelsey Bennett.
And in between all of that, we also have a new catcher behind the plate, Delaney Wiz.
So Wiz, who has caught Faramo this year, out catching for the Bruins. That hitter, says the plate umpire, and it forces in a run. Got her near the wrist. And it's 6-0.
Just based off the sound and the reaction, I thought this hit the knob of the bat. So we'll see here, break it down. I think it does. I think this hits the end of the bat. And you can see the reaction. Usually that's what tells me whether you really got hit or if it was something that maybe could have been a foul ball.
Lisa Fernandez discussing that with Jim Bertuzzi, the plate umpire. Let's see if we can get a little closer look, blow it up a bit, and see if it's the knob or the wrist.
Yeah, that's the knob.
Two runs now in the inning. First pitch strike to Darby Troll.
I mean, let me just tell you, if that hits Lauder in the wrist, she's shaking her hand and hurting.
The reaction would be much different than what we saw.
I mean, Framo's pushing 70 here.
1-2 on Troll. Still nobody out, though. 6 runs, 10 hits for Virginia Tech. While UCLA has been totally shut down offensively by Virginia Tech's Keely Rochard to this point. Troll chased it, and there's the first down.
Framo going to her changeup. That's a pitch to me that UCLA has needed against Virginia Tech, and they haven't utilized as much as they should have or could have in the game. Virginia Tech has been sitting hard. They've been sitting hard early. It's a really nice change of pace there from Framo.
I didn't envision that this game we'd be in a spot in the 5th inning that with one more hit here possibly by Virginia Tech, if it scored 2 more and made this an 8-0 game, the way Keely Rochard is going, this game could be over early. But Faremo is trying to keep that from happening. She jumps ahead with Brown. No balls, 2 strikes. In the run rule in college softball, if you're up by 8 or more runs through 5, game is over. It's 6-0. Tech with the bases loaded, 1 out, but Faremo ahead of Brown. 0-2, and now strikes her out. So a very animated Megan Faremo, a couple of key strikeouts here for UCLA.
Megan Faremo is giving me a look that I haven't seen from her at all this season. She's really typically a curveball, rise ball pitcher, and I've seen her already use her changeup a couple of times and her drop ball down in the zone, even going up against a slapper with the bases loaded. Completely different look.
Cameron Fagan, the 8th batter to come up in this inning for Virginia Tech, and she has 3 singles. She's knocked in a couple. Also scored in the first on what was the first big hit of this game, a 2-run triple from Kelsey Bennett. As Bubba Nichols in center, shading Fagan to hit the other way. With the bases loaded, 2 outs. A strike. And I think Delaney Wiz thought that was strike 3. She started walking up the foul line towards the home dugout.
Yeah, you can see her thinking that wasn't strike 3. I mean, I hate to harp on the defensive miscues for UCLA, but that just kind of tells you where they've been all night.
It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Wow, what a spot. Faremo on in relief of Rachel Garcia. Trying to stem the tide here in the 5th. And does so. And Wiz just has to step on the plate to complete the strikeout with the bases loaded. So Faremo comes in. There was that questionable issue earlier. Virginia Tech's leading this game. All the other super regionals get underway tomorrow. Keely Rochard has been dominant. She's retired all 12 UCLA batters she's faced. 4, 5, and 6 coming up. Delaney Wiz to start things for the Bruins, who, yes, are trailing 6-0 here in game 1 from Westwood. Wiz held up. Delaney was called out on strikes her first time up. Keely Rochard struck out the first 6 UCLA batters of the game. She has fanned 8. As Wiz hits that high into the twilight, backing out of play.
You know, Mark, on paper, and we just saw the bracket, this matchup is the most lopsided matchup in terms of unseeded versus high seed. When you think about James Madison, Georgia at Florida this weekend, and Virginia Tech, all 3 unseeded teams. But this matchup, really on paper, the most lopsided for Virginia Tech being the underdog.
being that UCLA is the #2 national seed, and a pop-up to Kelsey Bennett at short. The Super Regionals make their way to ABC this weekend. Top seed Oklahoma hosts Washington on Saturday at 3 Eastern. And you can catch all the action live on ABC or the ESPN app. The 6-0 hole for UCLA is their largest deficit of the season. The previous largest deficit was 5 runs. They were down 7-2 to Washington. So they are down by 6 runs for the first time all season. I have Brady 0 for 1. I'm still trying to compartmentalize which of the Virginia Tech's offense and pitching has been the most impressive. I think what Keely Rochard is doing, I'm not really surprised by that. I'm surprised that Virginia Tech has scored 6 runs tonight.
I'm with you, 100%. Their offense, I did not expect them to look that sharp that early in the game, especially off of Rachel Garcia. And it hasn't even been one player. I mean, thinking about Kelsey Bennett, I think she's had the best at-bats in the game, but 1 through 9, they have just been productive and in different ways with little bloopers, chopping slaps, bunts, gap shots.
Well, UCLA has their first base runner of the game. It's a 4-pitch walk to Maya Brady with 1 out in the 5th. So the Bruins finally have a base runner. Kinsley Washington steps in, left-handed batter 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The way Keely Rochard is pitching, down 6 in the 5th is a huge hill to climb. But I think for the Bruins standpoint, if they can at least have some really good at-bats or better at-bats against Rochard to try to set a tone for the rest of this series would be vital here late in this game.
100%. I mean, I've seen this UCLA team hit all season long, and here in postseason, you're never out involving.
That may have taken a bad hop. It looked like it may be a double play. Instead, there's going to be runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. Troll tried to get Brady at 3rd. Brady being very aggressive. And now UCLA does have something going.
And going small ball here. I know she's swinging away, but this is a short swing from Kinsley Washington up the middle. And this is aggressive base running from UCLA. Watching Maya Brady live, I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if she needs to go for it down 6-0, but I tell you what it does, it gives them momentum. That was a huge get with the speed of Maya Brady taking the extra base and firing up her dugout right there from 3rd.
They do score that a hit. The first hit of the game for UCLA. It looked like it took a bit of a little weird hop at the end on Bennett, but nonetheless, the first UCLA hit of the game. They try to add on to that with 2 in scoring position for Anna Vines.
I was waiting to see if it was going to be ruled an error or a hit. Obviously, coming into this game, Keely Rochard was throwing a perfect game.
Yes, perfect through the first 4 1/3 before her very uncharacteristic 4-pitch walk to Maya Brady to put the first base runner on. And then a ball off the bat. You're thinking, wow, we don't see a whole lot of double plays grounded into in college softball, that maybe that was going to be one turned, and it skipped right past Kelsey Bennett.
No, you're exactly right. From a very different inning.
Rochard, though, ahead of Vines. No balls, 2 strikes. Goes with the rise ball, and Vines chases. 2 outs.
I'm pretty surprised to see Anna Vine swinging away here. I know she has the ability to show short game, show slap or bunt. And UCLA, they have not been able to catch this rise ball all night long. And that's just too big of a swing. I really liked the approach from Kinsley Washington. We saw her just kind of go down and barrel something up, but not even finish her swing. 2 strikes. It's too big a hack against Rochard.
Well, Tessamala Ulu due up, and UCLA is going to go to the bench. They want the bat, Genevieve Perez. Perez, one of the veterans on this team, trying to provide a spark off the bench for the Bruins, down 6-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Rochard challenges her with a first pitch strike.
Genevieve Perez, redshirt senior, has been used this season primarily as a pinch hitter. Not a ton of at-bats, though. But she's got some pop.
Perez rips one to left. That's over the head of the left fielder, Kelsey Brown. And 2 runs score. And maybe that's the spark UCLA needed for the weekend in Westwood. Finally finding some offense and some runs against Keely Rochard.
I mean, I have chills right now for Genevieve Perez. Comes in, pinch hits against a pitcher that has been dominating her team and makes it look so easy. Pinch hitting is one of the hardest things to do in all of college sports. And look at Perez, the 5th-year senior, firing up her team. I mean, you just talk about her career and her path. We've talked about it. A mom in her own right, redshirted, had a son, didn't know if she was going to come back and play softball at all. Had an opportunity to go into UCLA and help them out. And here she is in her final season with might be the biggest at-bat in the Bruin uniform.
Well, still down 4, but it just really changes the mood on the UCLA side. We'll finally get something productive and something across the plate against Keely Rochard tonight, who had a perfect game through 4 1/3 after she got the first out of this inning.
Sometimes you just need that spark off the bench to come in and say, hey guys, we're making it a lot harder than it looks. Let me just show you how to simplify. Her swing was short, it was on time. Man, it was momentum shifting.
Kelly Gooden trying to keep the inning alive for the Bruins. Squares, but takes a strike. I know we were kind of talking about a ball hit by Washington, seemed to take a bad hop on the shortstop Bennett, whether that was a hit or not. Well, Genevieve Perez made sure that there would be no discussion about a no-hitter by absolutely walloping one to left field. On the ground left side, snow cones in the glove of Fagan, but she keeps possession and throws across to first to win the inning. But the Bruins attack facing Faremo, who really came in and put out a fire last inning.
Also, you saw on that graphic that 2008 Virginia Tech team.
Yes.
So the only time they had been to a super regional, they went to the Women's College World Series. And so now here they are again, just their second super regional. Trying to make it 2 for 2.
That year in 2008, they won the Knoxville Regional. Tennessee was the 13th seed. They knocked them out. Then they went to Ann Arbor. Michigan was a 5 seed, and Virginia Tech won there as well. And then went to the Women's College World Series for the first time. And Faremo emotionally continuing to notch the strikeout. She has fanned the last 4 Hokie hitters.
Faremo going up in the zone with this rise ball. This is a pitch that we've seen Keely Rochard use all night long. And I tell you what, I think Megan Faremo is for this moment. Behind, down, a lot of emotion on both sides. The momentum right now shifting towards UCLA. I think she's the one in the circle that could keep and ignite that momentum for the Bruins.
Bailey singled leading off the 5th and later scored. That gets through Vines. Brady thought she'd take a shot at first base. And the defensive issues continue to mount for UCLA. That's their 4th error of the game. Well, you see what happens. Usually, if you're the host and you win game 1, most of the time you're not going to lose. You're going to go to the Women's College World Series. But if you're the road team, you win game 1, all bets are off.
And just 6% of unseeded teams make it to the Women's College World Series. It's just something that we do not see at all in our sport.
Vine shovels to Perez. They get it to first. And a 4-6-3 double play. Just the 9th double play they have turned all season. But a season high 4 errors tonight committed by UCLA. Going to the bottom of the 6th. The Bruins trail by 4. Regional. Keely Rochard's been a big story in the circle for Virginia Tech, carrying a perfect game into the 5th, but UCLA getting 2 in the 5th inning. Virginia Tech leads 6-2, trying to take game 1 of this best of 3. Top of the order is up for the Bruins. They just scored 2 in the 5th. I know Bruin fans don't want to move on already to tomorrow and think that this one's over the way Keely Rochard has been pitching. But if you're the Bruins, if you can get a couple more here, then you start to think, hey, maybe so.
I mean, the way Rochard has been pitching, you have to wonder if that's even possible. And we haven't touched on this yet, but Keely Rochard and Mackenzie Lauder, they're calling their own game.
Yes, that's a great point that we haven't mentioned tonight. They are calling their own game, which is so unusual in this day and age of college softball. Nothing's coming from the dugout. Nobody's signaling anything in. It's just pitcher and catcher playing the game.
I mean, these two, they go back a long ways. They played travel ball together. And I just love that. They work quickly together. You can tell they're on the same page. There's not a ton of shakeoffs that I've been seeing tonight from Rochard. I mean, clearly she's been so good. But yeah, she said, Mac, she just reads my mind. She said, I always know what I want. It's a very cool dynamic for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I asked Rochard in that conversation yesterday, so how many times is Lauder Wright reading her mind? She said, oh, probably 70, 80% of the time.
Yeah.
She's thinking right along with me. So you got Perez, the top of the order here. Jordan is in the on-deck circle next. We did see Bubba Nichols come into the game. Doesn't look like we're going to see her bat. But just the fact that she came in and got some time in the outfield, really for the first time since March 21st. There was this senior day on Sunday, May 9th, when they had her in the starting lineup at center and then took her out even before the first pitch, just as a way to honor her. So technically, if you look at the stats, she was in that game and came out. but she actually played some outfield tonight. I think that emotional lift, I can't say that's what helped the Bruins score in the bottom of the 5th, but maybe it didn't hurt.
You're exactly right. I think her presence out in center field was more calming than anything. I mean, you're talking about an Olympian that has been kind of stuck in the dugout due to injury.
Gathered nicely by Addie Green to get Perez for the first out of the bottom of the 6th.
That's a big-time play by Addie Green. Trying to help out Rochard in the circle. Squash the momentum that we were feeling for UCLA. Coming off of that 5th inning. That was a big-time play. Drop step, go get it, created some space. Made it look easy.
0 for 2 tonight so far for Aaliyah Jordan. Look at the pitch count for Keely Rochard. Still, she's been very economical, even with that blip in the 5th. Not even to 70 pitches yet. From a Hokie perspective, that's a positive. Not only as well as she has pitched, but how few pitches to this point she's had to throw after throwing over 330 pitches in the regional last week and throwing every pitch of the regional for Pete Moore and the Hokies.
Oh, without a doubt, it's best case scenario. Best case scenario, because she's throwing every inning in this super regional, whether she's throwing 167 pitches or 67. She's going to be much fresher keeping that pitch count down.
Off-speed pitch fools Jordan, makes it a ball and 2 strikes. And I was a little off on that pitch total. 344 total pitches in 19 innings last weekend in Tempe for Rochard. The 18 pitches in the 5th.
I mean, and that was her bad inning. I'm putting up air quotes. But that was her bad inning. 18 pitches.
7-pitch 4th. And again, she set down the first 13 UCLA batters of the game. Goes back off speed. Lauder throws to first. The stretch by Bailey and the strikeout complete. 2 outs.
I love this pitch from Rochard. Her off-speed pitch, throwing it twice to Aaliyah Jordan in this at-bat. This is something that Mackenzie Vaughter and behind the plate and Rochard even in the circle, they can see. They can tell Aaliyah Jordan a little anxious, show an off-speed, see her out in front. Hey, let's do it again. Yeah, all right. Throw it again. It's not her best pitch. She'll tell you that. My best pitch is my rise ball. We've seen it at work all night long. But I just love that she goes to that off-speed pitch and uses something that you could tell Jordan was not ready for.
As you saw, double-digit strikeouts for Rochard tonight with 10. Now facing Rachel Garcia. Two at-bats tonight for Rachel. One a strikeout in the first, and in the fourth, fouled out to the catcher Lauder. If you're wondering how dominant Keely Rochard can be, just ask the Pitt Panthers softball team. Because back March 20th and March 21st, Keely Rochard had back-to-back 19 strikeout games against Pitt.
I just love watching her work with Mackenzie Vaughter. I mean, they are locked in. They're quick. They're efficient. Fun to watch.
And yes, I did say she had back-to-back 19 strikeout games.
It's not too bad.
No.
It's not too bad. I mean, you're excited if you get one performance in your career with 19 strikeouts.
Been doing on back-to-back days against the same team. 2-2 pitch. That's now 11 strikeouts tonight for Keely Rochard, who has been a huge story in the circle tonight.
Keely Rochard is dialed in. Curveball on the outside part of the plate. Pretty sweet. Throw her changeup in any count. And we were talking about the offense for Virginia Tech. They came out and set the tone early in this game, aggressive early in the count. They were sitting hard on fastball, so might be a good option for UCLA. Try and show something a little bit different with Holly Azevedo.
I think your point well taken, though, because we mentioned we didn't think Rachel Garcia pitched poorly. Obviously, with 4 errors tonight, a season high for UCLA, and a few other defensive plays that weren't technically errors, but normally you expect UCLA to make. That credit Virginia Tech, at least for their approach to Rachel Garcia, that helped them put up the numbers they put up tonight.
Oh, you could just tell they were solid in their game plan from the first batter of the game. They were looking early in the count. They were going to swing at something low in the zone, and they were going hard. They weren't able to hit a changeup all night. I'm looking at their hits in my scorebook, and everything that they hit was hard. So that tells me that UCLA needs to show something a little bit different, and it's that off speed.
Azevedo falls behind, 3 balls and no strikes. And this is her first appearance in the postseason this year. She's pitched in the postseason in past years for UCLA. She's a redshirt junior out of San Jose. Green with an RBI base hit her last time up. Goes up after that and fouls it off, and it's a full count. 6 runs, 10 hits for Virginia Tech. UCLA 2 runs, 2 hits, 4 errors.
And it's kind of interesting that, I mean, Virginia Tech, they've been on the West Coast since the Tempe Regional. I mean, this is a team that's just been on softball vacation, if you will.
3-2 pitch misses high, and a leadoff walk to Green to begin the 7th inning. First walk issued by a Bruin pitching tonight. Coming up immediately following softball, it's Sports Center with John Anderson and Michael Leaves here from Giannis and Butler following Bucks Heat Game 3, plus live post-game reaction from Suns Lakers Game 3, and we'll check with the Patriots where Cam Newton and Mac Jones took the field together. Sports Center with Anderson and Eaves coming up after our game on ESPN and the ESPN app. Emma Ritter has played a part in that 6-run offense of the Hokies tonight. Bunt base hit, has been hit by pitch. Reached on an error, so they have not gotten her out yet tonight. And there's been no 3-up, 3-down inning for UCLA pitching. Virginia Tech has had at least 1 base runner in every inning. Scored 2 in the first, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. UCLA scored their 2 in the bottom of the 5th.
I mean, still a half inning, full inning, if you will, left in this game. But if the score holds and people look at the score, I think a lot of softball fans are just look at the score and think, oh, maybe UCLA just had a bad inning. No. Virginia Tech set the tone for the full game. I mean, like we were just talking about how they've scored and the different innings that they've scored and who they've used in their lineup. It's been a complete team effort.
No doubt. And yes, UCLA is the number 2 overall seed, 12-time champion, defending national champion. The better team tonight, no question to this point, has been Virginia Tech. going to go foul. So let me play devil's advocate here with Kinsey Fowler. If this score holds and Virginia Tech takes game 1, we know that Keely Rochard is going to be back in the circle for game 2.
Yes, I'm not a betting person, but
do you feel as confident that it's Rachel Garcia to start tomorrow once again for UCLA?
not as confident, but I mean, my gut, my softball heart says it's got to be her. It has to be. I mean, an Olympian, 2-time National Player of the Year. You give it to her.
Ooh. Hit by pitch of Ritter. Second time tonight she has been hit by pitch. So a walk and a hit by pitch from Azevedo, and it's 2 on, nobody out for Virginia Tech. Let me follow up with one question. Megan Faramo came in, pitched really well tonight. Does that play any part in your thought process about who may start tomorrow?
I mean, I was thinking that we would see Framo try and close this thing out. She only came in the 5th inning and looked really good, other than one ill-timed wild pitch with the bases loaded. You know, of course, the run wasn't charged to her. So, I mean, a little bit surprised that I saw her get pulled here. And, of course, it's an option for tomorrow. But you're looking at the face of our sport.
Yes.
I mean, whether she likes it or not, that's her right there.
It's always a very stoic face, a poker face, whatever you want to call it. She does not wear her emotions on her sleeve. She keeps it contained. Rachel Garcia does, but she is one of the greats. We were having a discussion, and we even talked about it in the open of the show tonight, about how great a two-way player Rachel Garcia is because of her hitting and her pitching, no question. But Lisa Fernandez, her pitching coach, really in reality, she reminded us, Lisa Fernandez was a three-way player.
Yeah, three-way.
Three-way player, in that not only did she pitch and hit, but she played a defensive position, primarily third base, when she wasn't pitching. So she really was a three-way player.
Yeah, it's really interesting conversation for us softball nerds to talk about. I know, like in the NBA, the basketball nerds, if you will talk about MJ versus LeBron. I mean, that's what we have here in our sport. We have Lisa Fernandez there on the left, the GOAT of her time. Still, in my opinion, the GOAT because of what she was able to do. And like you're talking about, play third base as well. And then you have the little GOAT on the right of this newer generation.
A strikeout of Lauder for the first out of the inning. But yeah, the accolades for Lisa Fernandez, winning 3 gold medals, 7-time national champ, 2 of those as a player, 5 as a coach. And when you have a 0.22 career ERA, I mean, I can't even say it without laughing. It's so ridiculously
That's
good.
like 2 runs. I mean, again, I'm not good with math, but I know that's like not a lot of runs.
No.
Still pitches some BP. Seen her out there on the field.
Two 2-0 on Troll. Well, looking ahead to the UCLA 7. 4, 5, and 6 hitters will be due up. They're going to trail it by at least 4. Be down to their last 3 outs in game 1 of this best of 3 Los Angeles Super Regional.
I just feel like, I mean, we can't hide the fact, and we have to talk about Rachel Garcia. We have to talk about the tradition for UCLA. It's just, it is what it is. They're the most dominant program in our sport.
Yes.
We have to talk about it. But I just feel like Virginia Tech doesn't care. They just, okay.
Which, if you're Virginia Tech, that's exactly the mindset you have to have, isn't it?
It's one thing to say we don't care, but it's another thing to show it in your play and to show up and come into Easton Stadium and hang out on the West Coast for 2 weeks straight. Take down take down the seeded team in Arizona State. take it pretty easily, matter of fact, and just hang it on the West Coast. All right, who's next? What do we need to do? Where do we need to go?
Well, when we do get to the bottom of the inning, Virginia Tech will be 3 defensive outs away if they can hang on to making this a really good night for the ACC, because Florida State beat LSU in our earlier game tonight. And Virginia Tech trying to do the same here for the ACC in Los Angeles tonight. And the ACC, Virginia Tech finished 4th in the regular season in the ACC. Clemson won it. Florida State was 2nd, Duke 3rd. Notre Dame was 5th. There's a look at the bracket. Florida State won today in Baton Rouge. Of course, it hasn't been that long since Florida State won a national championship.
I mean, wouldn't it be something if the 2 ACC teams came into the host sites and walked out of there?
Strike 3 on the outside edge to get Troll. Back-to-back strikeouts for Azevedo.
And back-to-back strikeouts looking for Virginia Tech that you can just tell. I think the scouting report was heavy on Rachel Garcia and heavy on Megan Framo. So not really sure what Azevedo looks like. Not sure what her pitches are breaking like. Goes to a drop ball on the outside part of the plate. And another strikeout looking. Slap hitter can do. Not going to need a home run. I just need to square something up, find a hole, find a line drive. Yeah, look at those numbers, what she's been able to do in that leadoff spot.
Cameron Fagan has had a big night tonight with 3 hits. She had homered in each of the last 2 games of the regional in Tempe against Arizona State and BYU. Fagan dealt with an injury during the season. She had been the shortstop. The injury limited her mobility, especially side to side. So they flipped Fagan and Kelsey Bennett. Bennett was playing third. Fagan was at short, and they just flipped those two, and that's where they've been playing here for the last number of weeks. Out to third. Another fumble and no play for Malaulu. Well, this is probably the most surprising thing for me tonight. 5 errors now for UCLA with this one here.
This is what short gaming and slapping can do to a defense. There's a lot of conversation right now about the long ball and how do you score. Is slapping dead? No. In postseason, this is how you put the pressure on against a very good pitching staff.
And if you're UCLA, you hope this isn't contagious, because Malaulu, who has been dynamite at third base as a true freshman, that's the first error she has committed at third base all season. All season. Now, granted, she hasn't played there every day, every game, but it's a big enough sample size to say, hey, wow.
Yeah, she's been busy over at third base. I think of Kelsey Brown, Cameron Fagan, Darby Troll at the bottom of the lineup. Even Addie Green showing some short game as well.
DP Alex Milius. In the hole, no balls, 2 strikes. All inside. Let's take a look at this last at bat, and Fagan getting down the line. Seemed to be favoring the right leg. Keely Rochard racking up the Ks tonight. Count 11 of them.
And it's been on different pitches. We've seen her backdoor curve. We've seen her throw rise balls over the heads of UCLA hitters with them swinging. It's been her off-speed pitch. It's been her curve inside the lefties, outside the righties. It's just been whatever she's throwing. She's got good spin. She throws hard. She's very deceptive. And she has been untouchable tonight for Virginia Tech.
Well, that 2-run first for Virginia Tech set the tone. It was a 2-out, 2-run triple from Kelsey Bennett. Tech added 2 more in the 4th, 2 in the 5th to lead 6-0. Keely Rochard had a perfect game through 4 1/3 before she walked Maya Brady on 4 straight pitches in the 5th. Gave up a 2-run single later in the inning to pinch hitter Genevieve Perez. And those have been the only runs she has allowed, with 11 Ks to 1 walk. Looking for her 29th win of the season. Last chance for the Bruins, down 5. Delaney Wiz leads off. Well, the last time UCLA lost a super regional home game, 2014. They lost to Kentucky not once but twice on the last day after winning game 1 of that super, then lost to the Wildcats the last 2 games. Those are the last losses in a super that UCLA has had at home. Another note is that the 7 runs Virginia Tech has scored tonight, the most UCLA has given up this season. Actually ties the most for a UCLA opponent. Washington had 7. A 7-4 win over the Bruins back on April 24th. Got under it. Wiz. High pop up on the infield for the shortstop Bennett. Virginia Tech 2 outs away from taking game 1 in LA.
Keely Rochard back-to-back at bats against Delaney Wiz. She's got her on that curveball, the outside part of the plate. Delaney Wiz just a little bit early, hitting it on the end of the bat.
Maya Brady walked and scored in the 5th. Last loss in any super regional round for UCLA, 2016 at Oregon. They lost game 1 8-1, but then they did come back and on the road in Eugene won the last 2 to win the super regional and advance to Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series.
It'll be very interesting to see how UCLA responds tomorrow, because we know what Virginia Tech is going to bring. They're going to bring Keely Rochard, and they're going to bring their scrappy offense. It'll just be which UCLA team will we see tomorrow.
I'm not done with my Nuggets, by the way. Rachel Garcia allowed 6 runs tonight. Granted, a few of those were unearned, but it's the most runs she has given up in a game since her freshman season. And she gave up 7 runs to Ole Miss in 2017 in an 11-inning game, but won that game 8-7. And Rachel Garcia's freshman season was 2017. Her true freshman year, she was out with the left knee injury, but the redshirt freshman of 2017 was National Freshman of the Year that year. Make it an even dozen strikeouts for Keely Rochard. And she has UCLA down to their final out.
I mean, through the highs and even the lows throughout this whole game, Keely Rochard has just stayed consistent. She stayed stoic. Hasn't showed a lot of emotion, whether she's striking out the side or walking a batter. Whether UCLA has all the momentum in the world in that 5th inning. I just have really loved her approach tonight. And I know sometimes, you know, fans at home or softball fans will say, oh, I wish she showed more emotion. She needs to get a little bit more fiery. And I'll just tell you as a pitcher, don't let anybody tell you what you need to be. You just be yourself. And if Rochard is calm, cool, and collected, not even going to raise an eyebrow at anything, then that's where she needs to be. I mean, she's proving it.
to second, diving stop. By the time Bailey's able to get back to the bag, they can't get Kinsley Washington extending the game.
I mean, outside of the pinch hit single from Genevieve Perez, the best hitter against Rochard for UCLA has been Kinsley Washington. And I think it's because of her approach. She hasn't been hacking big. She's been hacking very short, even though swinging away, just trying to make contact and finding a hole and using her speed.
Well, 3 total hits for UCLA. You mentioned the pinch hit 2-run single for Genevieve Perez, but the other 2 hits do indeed belong to Washington. Stick around for Sports Center. Coming up next with John Anderson and Michael Eaves. Julie Rodriguez getting the pinch hit here for Vines. Well, you and I, we make our own predictions before the game tonight. I'm not going to say what you and I said our predictions were as far as the score. Let's just say we didn't get the score right at all. And that's a hit by pitch of Rodriguez.
No, I guarantee you anyone turning on this game that's a softball fan or even just knows about the program of UCLA, I guarantee you they go, whoa.
No doubt. And you know, besides for Florida State and LSU, which started tonight as well, you have all the other teams out there tonight getting a look at this and saying, okay.
Why not us?
You got it. Gonna run at first base. Anna Vines comes back to run for Rodriguez.
No, that's a great point you make. I mean, Thursday, the first day of Super Regional weekend, so 2 games starting early, and guarantee you those players at home watching this game just thinking a little something. All right, if we're the underdog, if we're on the road, look what can happen.
Or if you're the favorite, you're thinking, hey.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Be careful. Which I talking with Mala'ulu. UCLA down to their final out, hanging in right now with 2 on 2 outs, but still need more base runners to even have a chance here, down 5.
Well, in Tessa Mala'ulu's last at bat, she was pinch hit for. See Coach Inouye Perez just talking her freshman through the at bat. If you're Keely Rochard, I know 5-run difference here, but I don't want to let the top of the lineup come around. I'm going right at Tessa Mala'ulu. True freshman, has only had 1 at bat on me tonight. Grounded out to shortstop. I'm in attack mode.
That's exactly what happened. Strike 1. Probably for me, the only plate appearance for UCLA that really, from a Rochard perspective, threw me was she was throwing a perfect game, and then a 4-pitch walk to Maya Brady just kind of came out of nowhere. This has been her only walk of the night. That's bounced out to second. A throw by Green, and Virginia Tech takes game 1 of the Los Angeles Super Regional, upending the #2 national seed UCLA 7-2.
Keely Rochard putting the nation on notice. The ACC Pitcher in the Year comes into the West Coast, stays on the West Coast, comes out of the Tempe Regional, now coming into the Los Angeles Regional. 12 strikeouts, 3 hits. I mean, she was masterful, and she was ready for this moment.
Let's take a look at our Capital One player of the game, and it's going to be a shock to no one that it's Keely Rochard with her 15th double-digit strikeout game of the season, fanning a dozen tonight.
I mean, I can just tell you right now, there's some shockwaves running through the softball world, and for UCLA, I don't really know if they know what just hit them with Keely Rochard.
Shockwaves sent through the college softball world indeed, but UCLA still has life. We'll see what happens tomorrow in game 2 in this Los Angeles Super Regional on ESPN2 tomorrow night. So good night, good day for the ACC. Florida State winning on the road in Baton Rouge, beat LSU.